The aim of art is to represent not the outward appearance of things, but their inward significance. Aristotle. Many times, the only way people know how to deal with their mental well-being is by talking about it. But talking about our feelings is something that can be really difficult for a lot of people. So the purpose of this speech is to convince you all that holding in feelings is harmful and that there are more effective ways than traditional therapy methods to let out those emotions. I'm credible on this topic because I personally don't like to talk about my feelings, so I heavily rely on different ways to do so, and I have also done extensive research on the topic. Living in this day and age of technology, it is very obvious that as a whole, humans struggle with finding ways to not only express their feelings, but do it free from judgment, making it that much more invaluable to be able to do it in different ways. Today, I will be explaining to you exactly how one alternative can be used to not only express our feelings, but also act as a stress reliever and even minimize real physical pain. So with that, let's talk about our feelings. Just kidding, not actually. But let's talk about what happens when we don't talk about our feelings. As I mentioned before, talking about feelings can be very difficult for a lot of people, and ThriveWorks.com says this is because doing so means putting yourself in a vulnerable situation that you don't necessarily want to be in. Bottling up our feelings, even though it spares us from some discomfort, is something that can lead to many bad responses from not only our minds, but also our bodies. Fatherly.com even states that the chronic stress that comes from unresolved emotions can trigger your sympathetic nervous system's fight or flight response, and that this causes slow digestion and will often lead to gas, bloating, constipation, and vomiting. The added stress on the body can also cause head and neck pain, migraines, and increase your likeliness of suffering from a heart attack by 9 times during emotional outbursts, as stated by CBS News. Despite the fact that our society today focuses on the mental aspects of our health, now more than ever we struggle with finding ways to care for it without paying the large sums of money it takes to hire a professional. Because of this, many have been in search of alternative ways that will also help to maintain mental stability. With the growing interest on the topic of coping mechanisms for our feelings, many methods have been tried, but one hasn't really been found that is normalized as talking to a therapist. So that is where I come in to explain just how awesome one alternative in particular really is. And that alternative is none other than creating art as a form of therapy. I know what you're thinking. How could doing art possibly help me express my emotions? But bear with me, because the studies that have been done show exactly how effective it is at doing just that. Let's look at a hypothetical situation. Say you just broke up with your boyfriend or girlfriend. More often than not, in this situation, you're going to be really upset, sit in your room, and either want to eat or watch Netflix, or you're going to act like you don't care. Talking isn't really at the top of the priority list when you're heartbroken. And even though at the time this seems like the best thing to do, what you really should be doing is taking all the emotions that come with the breakup and letting them just spill out of you. And one of the best ways to do this is by just putting whatever comes to mind on a piece of paper. According to the American Art Therapy Association, the goal of art therapy is to provide ways for people to utilize the creative process and develop new coping skills. This form of therapy is used by professionals, as Hackensack Meridian Carrier Clinic mentions that art therapy is establishing itself as a serious component of the treatment program practiced by highly trained and fully certified professionals. Now, it is important to note that art therapy does include analyzing what you create to better understand what is going on in your head, and that this is a vital part of what makes it so effective. So if you are attempting to do it at home on your own, you should make sure to include this step. But with this in mind, let's take a look at the science. A study analyzing the effects of art therapy on veterans with combat-inflicted PTSD found that symptoms are reduced, and the test subjects felt that art therapy was more effective than using only verbal therapies for their treatment. One review of the effectiveness of art therapy found that this technique helped cancer patients undergoing medical treatment improve their quality of life and alleviated a variety of psychological symptoms. Another study focusing on cancer patients conducted by Kyung-Soo Kim analyzed the results of art therapy and its correlation with pain relief. This study found that doing art does help to minimize the intensity of pain by allowing patients to focus on creating something rather than the pain that they are feeling. Time and time again, these studies have proven that art therapy is easy and effective at its intended purpose. But if you don't want to take my word for it, take a look for yourself. You can visit artforlife.org and donate to help kids through emotional crisis by exposing them to art and encouraging them to use it as a way to express how they are feeling. You can also practice art therapy yourself and encourage others to do so by having a small art session. Not only will this be fun, but it'll also help you to gain personal experience. In conclusion, today we have learned about the effects holding back our feelings has on the body and mind, an alternative method for expressing these feelings, the added benefits of using the method, and how you can take the next steps to really educate yourself about art therapy. Let's normalize not only talking about our mental health, but finding different easy ways to express whatever it is that may be going on in our minds. And remember that art is open to interpretation, so whatever you slap on that piece of paper is between you and that piece of paper. And it's a secret that nobody will ever really have access to. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, that is what makes every piece of art that's out there beautiful. Thank you.